topic: reader or doer. Are you a reader or a doer? Are you someone who keeps gathering knowledge or someone who turns knowledge into action? To help us understand this question, we have someone who is no stranger to many of us today. Our speaker is someone I've had the privilege of really learning a lot from. One thing I admire about him is that he lives with intentionality. He does not just encourage people to grow, he actually models it. Through his words and his action, he has taught me the value of discipline, resilience, and consistency. Those lessons have stayed with me, and I am very grateful for them. So that is why I honestly believe that today's topic is one he is well suited to speak on, because he does not just read about growth, he actually practices it. So please help me or join me in giving a warm welcome to the speaker, Mr. Matthew Adelabu, as he takes us through today's session. You're welcome, sir.
Well, good evening. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you very much. I am grateful for the intro. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining tonight. I want to say it's going to be another great session tonight, and we're going to learn a whole lot. And we believe that a couple of people will still join us as soon as possible. Now, in one of our sessions that we did some times ago, in one of our in the feedback, somebody suggested that we take a session on reading, on how to read, apply, and all that. So since then, I've been looking at my schedule and looking at my calendar. Okay, when it's when it's more suitable to take that particular subject, and coupled with the fact that we have a book club in our platform, so that make a lot of sense for us to talk about what we are talking about tonight, so that we'll not just be reading, attend webinars, and nothing is changing. And that's why we are looking at this topic tonight. Since I was just looking for what to title it, so I just say, okay, reader or doer, learning how to read, learn, and apply. I'm sorry if the title is not really catching our attention, but it's what we're going to discuss that is more important. So, thank you so much. And like you said, I'm Matthew Adelabu. That's my name. Thank you very much. All right. So, like I've said, we are looking at reader or doer, learning how to read, learn, and apply. This man, Dale Carnegie, we are going to read his book in our platform very soon. The book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The man said, knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power when applied. What he's basically saying is that, and I've said it on the call, on this our call several times, that when you come to a meeting like this or a webinar like this, your life does not just change automatically, right? By just hearing what we are saying. It's just like when you go to church, you hear sermons, your pastor will preach and all that. Your life does not just change because you hear sermons. If you don't go and apply those things, nothing will change. Just the same thing as those of us who are Muslims. You go to mosques, you hear what you call wasi and all that. If you don't put those into practice, then it's more like you are just having a religious activity. It will not, it won't affect any areas of our life. So we don't just want us to be gathering knowledge. We come here every 2 weeks, stay on call, listen, read books in our platform. This time around, we're even starting some new initiatives and all that. And doing all those things, and our life is not changing. It's more like a waste of time. And personally, and like I've discussed with those who are working together on this platform, what is driving me for this platform is actually, my passion to see people grow. That is all. When I see people, when I expect that people should know something and they don't know it, it's always, it's more like they are putting a dart on my heart. So If we are doing all that and people are not really practicing those things, then we are all wasting our time, right? And that's why we are here again tonight to look at this topic. It's very, very special to me and very, very special to you as well, if I'm correct. And I know that some of us will be reading. I, for instance, have been reading for as I can't as long as I can remember, right? And I remember those days in school that I even have a bookshop where when the man goes to market, he come back, he will help me separate books with a friend of mine. They help us separate books and call us and say, okay, I'll come from the market to come and pick books and all that. In fact, mentor will just give all those books and we'll be paying him back later. Just to tell you the journey that that some of us have went through. But if all those things are not being seen in our character, in our life, in our habits, then we're just wasting our time. And not just that, we're wasting our resources, right? So and that's why the Carnegie says that knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power when applied. So, and that's what we want to look at tonight. We want to look at how we can really apply the knowledge that we are gathering. So it won't just be like we're just gathering knowledge, but how do we apply them? All right, so let's move forward. So, what is the problem, right? Now, we live in an age of information overload. All of you will agree with me on that. A lot of information are flying here and there. In fact, if you are not careful today, you won't even know the information that is right or wrong because there are a lot of information out there. You won't know, should I follow this one? In fact, if you don't have a good conviction of yourself, you'll be tossed to and fro. Just like the Bible says, you'll be tossed to and fro. You won't know where to go. So, in fact, discernment is also needed when it comes to our personal development as well, because there are a lot of information outside there. You go on YouTube, you go on TikTok, you go on Facebook, everywhere. There's a lot of information. And we have people watch motivational videos on YouTube, watch videos and all that. And many times today, some of us even work in organization where we have free network, so we are able to stream the internet here and there. We listen to podcasts, which are good. I think I'm listening to two podcasts today. Of course, not too very long, not too long, like just I think like 30 minutes like that from two different people that I listen to a lot. I've listened to them. So we listen to podcasts, we attend seminars, we read books, we attend webinars like the one we are attending now, today again. But that is not the problem. The real problem or the question we should ask ourselves is that, are we applying those information? That is the question all of us need to ask ourselves. So I must be able to sit down and ask myself a very, very sincere question and say, Matthew, all the information that I've been gathering, have I been applying those things? And I want to welcome those of us who are just joining. Thank you so much. Oluwatosin, Scopeman, okay, yeah, I think Olajumo has been yes, since. All right, so what we are saying, we are not saying that watching videos, watching motivational videos, learning to broadcast. One of the things we're going to do in the coming days that we're going to also be recommending videos for us to watch, broadcast to listen to, just to ensure that we are growing, right? Attend seminars. In fact, we see how plans that in the next future we're going to be having even physical meetings for becoming platform. We're going to have branches in universities, in schools, and all that. But the question is this: are we applying those information? That's the question all of us must ask ourselves. And that's the question I want you to go home with from this webinar tonight. All the information you have gathered, all the books that you have read, all the seminars you have attended, what have you done with those information? This man, Johan Wogan von Gotti, don't mind me, the name is somehow, he said, knowing is not enough. We must apply. It's not enough to know. It's not enough to gather knowledge. It's not enough to read materials, which is good. We are not trying to downplay reading. We are not downplaying reading materials. We're not downplaying attending webinars. After all, we are in one now. After all, we have books we are reading in our book. In fact, we are starting another book tomorrow in our book club. So we are not downplaying all those things. But what we are saying is that we must take a step further. And that is really my own focus, right? That is really my focus. That's why I said recently we need to do a kind of restructuring because we want to really know people that we're going to be accountable for in that platform. We don't just want to have people, everybody just no. We want to have people, want to know people that, okay, these are the people that we're accountable for. I want to measure that from this time to this time, this person has gotten better. So it's not just information. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. You are not just like I want to grow, I attend our webinars, I'm there, then but are you doing the things that you are learning? As you are receiving the instructions, are you doing them? So let's go further. So tonight we are going to, we are going to talk about very, very simple thing that I believe that some of us might have known, just to remind us and bring it to our minds. So I'm not teaching you, I'm going to teach you, maybe we're going to do some other times, how to read, how to understand per se. What we're going to be looking at is how to apply, because I know that an average person on this call knows how to open a book. You open a book and read, right? But want to apply those things that we are reading. That is what we're looking at. We are not here to teach this grammar, this past tense, this present participle, whatever. So we want to look at 7 laws of reading. We want to explore 7 practical laws that can help us to move from being a mere consumer of knowledge to becoming a practitioner of wisdom. Look at it. We want to move from the point of just being a consumer of knowledge. We have people who are just consumer of knowledge. They're just consuming, and which is very good. Very, very good, because we also have people who are not ready to learn. Yeah, we have people who are not, for instance, you have friends that you might have invited for this call now who are always giving one excuse or the other. We know that some people, their excuse might be genuine, but we also know some people, they are not just ready to learn, right? So we are not saying it's not good to consume knowledge. It's actually good to consume knowledge. You need to consume it as many as you can, as much as you can, right? And I'm doing that as well. And I believe a lot of us on this call are doing that as well. But we want to move from that consumption stage to becoming a practitioner of wisdom. That is, we want to begin to apply those things that we are learning. That if somebody should see me, he should see the knowledge I am acquiring in me. I need not say it. I did not say, well, I've read 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. The person should see it. I did not tell the person that, oh, I've read Atomic Habits. The person should see it in my attitude, in my lifestyle, in my character. That is what we are doing. So I put a quote, I said, reading may fill your mind, but application changes your life. So it is that application, it is that our life changing that is our focus tonight. We want our life to change. We don't just want to be like, okay, oh, I'm a member of Becoming Platform. I'm a becomer. We read books there. We attend webinars. We do this and that. We used to have training and all those things. No, we want to be men and women who are applying those things, who are putting those things into practice. That is what we want to look at. So let's proceed. This 1 minute. So okay, and as we're going forward, I want you to engage. You can drop something on the chat board. Don't worry, it's not like you can't talk. Yeah, you can drop on the chat board. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. So I want you to be very, very engaging. All right, thank you. So let's go to the first law, that we want to look into tonight. And the first law I put it as reading or listening with a purpose. There's this saying, there is quote by Miles Monroe, who says that when a purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. All right. So before you start to read a book, before you listen, now this is before you start at all, not when you have started, not when you are in chapter 4 or whatever. Before you start, ask yourself, what is the purpose of this book? What do I want to achieve from reading this book? Because purpose determines retention. If you don't have a purpose while you're reading that book in mind, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to retain the things that are taught in that book. So purpose determines retention. People remember what they are searching for. It's just like, for instance, now if you take your bags and everything, you go to Lagos, or you travel to Lagos in search for something. In the next, maybe you don't stay in Lagos before, you stay in Akwa Ibom, like Miss Favor, and you now travel from Akwa Ibom that distance to Lagos to search for something. Now, I don't think if it is possible, apart from maybe medical issue, I don't think it's possible for maybe the next 10 years. Somebody asks you, what did you go to search in Lagos? Why did you leave Akwa? And I say, I can't remember. It's impossible, right? Because you have something in mind that you are looking for. So you are able to remember what you are searching for. So the first thing before I start to read a book is, what am I looking for? What is the purpose? Why am I reading this book? Right? Of course, we also have, scenarios where you belong to book clubs. For instance, we are reading 24 Infallible Laws of Leadership starting from tomorrow in our book club. And that's why we also try to give synopsis about the book to tell you what this book is all about, so that you will know the purpose of this book. Then you know what you are looking for in the book. So don't just read or listen to everything. Read, listen intentionally. The truth of the matter is that you cannot read every book in the whole world. It's not possible. In fact, I have some books. I didn't plan for that. I will have show you. I have a lot of books that I highlight down that I even want to buy, not even to read them online, that I really want to buy, have their copies. I have a lot of books I want to read. If I show you the tracker of our book club, there are a lot of books, and I think Favor you do and others can actually be able to tell that there are a lot of books that we already highlighted out there. In fact, we can't finish them this year. It's not possible. There's no way we're going to do it. Even next year, I doubt it. And we're still going to be updating it. So what I'm trying to say is that you cannot read every book in the world. But the one you are taking to read, you must ask yourself, what is the purpose of reading this book? What am I trying to achieve? That's the first thing. The moment you lose that, I believe that you cannot really gain anything from that book. The moment you miss that, it's just like somebody just tell you, okay, let's go to Lagos. You follow the person. And then say, no, Port Harcourt. You go to Port Harcourt. And then say, no, we're not going to, we're going to Abuja. So you are just being tossed to and fro. But you must know, what do you want? Why must I read this book? What do I want to become? Okay, this is what I want to become. This is what I'm looking for. I am weak in this regard. I need a book that will help me in this regard. That is where reading to apply start from. So I must, first of all, have a purpose in mind why I'm reading the book that I'm reading. Right? So let's say a few things here. So I said, before opening or listening to a book, we have audio book. In fact, now this is not also just to books alone. You can also relate this to podcast, webinars, just like this as well. Webinars, seminars, whatever you attend. You ask yourself, why am I reading this book? That's the first thing. Why am I in this podcast? Why am I listening to this audio book? Why? That's one of the things we learned from John C. Maxwell in the 15 laws of invaluable growth, 15 valuable laws of growth, where he said you must be curious. Your favorite word must be why. Yeah, I hope we have not forgotten that. You must always ask why. If I see you at work, we say that even when your own boss tell you to do something, your manager said do something, he said ask why. Don't say, it's my guy, I cannot ask questions. Is this part of Africa that your child cannot ask you? He cannot tell you why. No, you should be able to ask questions. Why am I reading this book? What is the purpose? What do I intend to achieve? Then number two, what problem am I trying to solve? I've said that earlier. What am I trying to achieve? Okay, I am not somebody who is bold. I'm not that bold. I am trying to work on my personal, interpersonal skills. Okay, I'm trying to learn how to market. I'm trying to learn how to code. So what's the problem I'm trying to solve? You ask that. What skills am I trying to develop? So like I said the other time, is it communication skills that I'm trying to develop? Okay, let me go and read this book on public speaking. That's the question you're asking yourself. So the book in front of me, before you even open the book, you are asking the author, even though you are not seeing the author. Somebody said that he said when you are reading a book, you are actually interacting with the author. I think Justin said I mentioned that you are interacting with the author, even though they are not physically present with you. So that's what you are doing. So you're asking yourself, what skill am I trying to develop? What question am I trying to answer? So basically, I must know my purpose. What is the purpose? Why am I reading this book? I must ask myself, if it is a book that we are reading together as a team, we must ask ourselves and say, why are we reading this book? Okay, we're reading this book because we want to learn about leadership. All right. So we want to get better in our leadership skills. We want to know how to lead people. We want to know how to raise leaders, not just followers. Because that's one of the things we're going to read in that 24 laws of infallible, 24 infallible laws of leadership. I read the book actually. So, and I'm going to start reading it again from tomorrow with us. So you're asking yourself, I'm not just raising followers. We want to raise leaders. I want to develop leaders. That's the purpose of why we're reading this book now. So that already give you an idea that after reading this book, I must know how to raise leaders. Unlike I just take a book, I just started reading. Why am I reading this book? I don't even know. Maybe I'm just reading to while away time. So what I'm trying to tell you is this: don't just read to while away time. No, don't read to while away time. And I know that some of us can do it. I do it as well. There are times when I want to sleep. And I have this, I don't want to, maybe it's a problem, I don't know, or maybe it's a curse. That it is that very time that I want to sleep that a lot of things will be coming to my mind. That I've not done this, I've not done that, I've not, Barrister Ayero, I can see you welcome. I've not done this, I've not done that. A lot of things will be coming to my mind. And many times I will just like, what can I do? Let me take a book, you know. Okay, sorry, I've just been trying to join System 72, but the network is masqueraded itself as the gate of hell. Again, I hear my resolution, thank God I didn't give up, although the network is still all right, all right. Thank you. Sorry about that, bro. Sorry about that. Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you, people, for helping me welcome Brasari. All right. So, um, so I was saying that is that time that I want to sleep that I begin to remember and know that I'm not. So two things I usually do in those moments. And that's why if you tell me to tell you a story of a movie, you are talking to the wrong person. I might not even know what to say. Right. So at times I just take a movie, I just watch. And at times I'm just watching, especially if I'm the only one, as I'm watching, Baba don't they go. Or I just take a book. I just take a book, and at that time I'm not really reading, to gain something. I'm just reading because I want to calm my brain. I want to calm my nerves. I want to shut down, right? So that is a part of reading that I'm just reading to while away time just to sleep or thereabout. But we're talking about reading with a purpose. What am I trying to achieve? What am I trying to learn? So that's the first law about how to do so that you just read is what is the purpose of this book? Why am I reading this book? And this should be even be applied to every areas of our lives. If you are going to, and maybe we're not also, taught in this area. Some of us will just grow. Okay, I want to study law. Many of us, and I know that children are curious, you want to be this, you want to be down to that. But I also believe that there should be a point where a child will get to where we see the child and begin to train the child, where the child can be able to say, okay, I want to become a lawyer because of this, because of that. Right? I want to become this, but many times it's just because maybe my dad, for instance, let me tell you my personal story. Earlier in life, when I was in I think when I was in primary school, I used to say I want to be a banker. And I will tell you why. Very simple. We acted a drama in primary school. I acted as a bank manager in that drama. So the next thing I want to be a bank manager. So that was it. Then that was what I took away from the university, from the primary school. Then when I enter secondary school, there's this social gathering. I don't know if the school still do that today. We used to have this social gathering there. So there's a particular day we have that social gathering every week. This particular social gathering we have, and a medical doctor was invited. Of course, a teacher, one of our teachers, represented a teacher there. We have a lawyer. Then I think those are the three professions that day: a medical doctor, a lawyer, then a teacher. So the medical doctor was the one that was able to catch my attention during that. It's like a debate, not really a debate, but they were just talking generally about their profession, why and that and that. So the doctor was able to catch my attention, and I said, I want to be a medical doctor. And of course, we we we, we kept running after it, and that's why I'm a medical doctor today. you know, but the truth of the matter is this: if I really known what I want to do, if I really known what I think maybe my purpose, maybe I will not even go to, I'm not regretting, no, I'm not regretting. Maybe I won't even go to science class, right? So I'm just saying that many times we don't even know our purpose. We don't even know why do you want to do what you want to do. We just do it because, or that, don't apply the same thing to book. When you want to read a book, ask yourself, what am I trying to achieve? Let's move forward. Now, the law two, read or listen actively, not passively. I said something that I said, somebody said that when you are reading a book, you are engaging with the author of that particular book. Because I believe that, but I believe it's true anyways. Even though I know people grow, people get better. That's why we have some books that have revised edition and all that. Now, if I want to write a book now, I am going to put my best into that book. I mean, my best as of today is what I will put into that book. It is what I know as of today, which is the best of myself that I'm going to put in that book today. So when I'm reading that book, or when somebody is reading that book, that person is actually engaging with my personality. So the book is not really a paper that you are holding your hand, so to say. You are actually engaging John C. Maxwell. For instance, if you are reading John C. Maxwell book, you are engaging with John C. Maxwell. You are engaging with Robert Schuller, the author of Tough Time Never Lasts, but Tough People Do. I read that book so many years ago, maybe about 15 years ago. Very, very, very inspirational book. We're going to still read it in our book club, right? So I'm engaging them. That's where I'm engaging. If I'm reading Making It Big by Otedola, I am engaging with Otedola. By reading, I can even I will be able to know how these people think. So when I'm in that kind of scenario, I mustn't just read passively. So it must be like the person is in front of me. I'm very sure that those of us who are on this call, all of us who read books, if you meet John C. Maxwell now, or you mix Otedola, or you meet those authors of your favorite authors, I'm sure that they won't be in your front and you are pressing your phone. In fact, you won't hit. You will want to. I know somebody who I also follow is a Nigerian who was supposed to meet John C. Maxwell recently. I mean, physically. You can see the joy, even on TikTok, the way he was talking about it. In fact, he had one webinars, 3 days webinars. Even though because of this, I should be there now. He had it Thursday, Friday, Saturday. In fact, it's one of the things he used to send his email. I just got a call from John C. Maxwell now because that is the person he's looking up to. So that means that he's seeing him. The person, you hold that person in high esteem. The same way, if you are really going to get the things, the best of those people that they have put they actually that they have printed in a paper, you must engage actively. So engage with the material. Don't just move your eyes through the pages. So you are not reading and you are pressing phone by the side. You are not reading and you are sitting where people are making jests, or people are. I know that some of us we can still read, where there's noise. I cannot do that. I can't. Like, I cannot. It's not just possible for me, right? I know some people can do it, but ensure that you are really doing it. Ensure that when you take a book to read, if you are going to spend 10 minutes, make sure that that 10 minutes is for that book. That 10 minutes is for that book, not for reading and making jests, not for reading and talking to your boo-boo or baba, not for reading and for that book. That 10 minutes, give it to it. Engage with material, not just move your eyes through the pages. So, and one of the things I want to put in mind in this particular part is that ensure that you know your best productive place and time. Like I said the other time, some of us we can read where there are noises. I can't do it, right? I cannot do it. If I'm reading and even with a little noise, I get distracted. That's why I sleep early, I wake up very early. So I'll be able to, in fact, at times by 6 a.m. I'm done with my major readings for that day, right? Because mental, I wake up 4, read, do devotion, do other thing, read and all that. So by 6:30, I'm done before people begin to, make noise here and there. So you might not be like me, but know your best productive time. What time are you more productive? You know, that your brain is more active, where that if you read, you can easily assimilate and you can engage properly, and your more productive time as well. Not those time, maybe towards sleeping at night, before you sleep at night, because the essence of all that is that we don't want to say, okay, we read 10 pages. I read 10 pages yesterday. I read 2 books yesterday. That is not the testimony we want to hear. I say, I'm not saying you should not say those things. It's good to encourage others, but we want to go further and say that, oh, my life is this way because of books that I read. And if you listen to successful people, that is how they talk. They will tell you they have read books, that I read this, that I read. I listened to a man recently. He's not a Ghanaian, but he's based in Ghana. He's a white man. And he has one been rich, very wealthy man, and he lost everything. So of course he got his footing back and all that. And now he's not telling people you need to read books. He said that was one of the mistakes I made then. I don't read, I don't do that. So if you listen to everybody, one of the things you cannot take away from them is that they read, they study, they research a lot. Just like one of my brother here put in narration form that what kind of book are you talking? Are you talking about research or are you talking about whatever materials you are reading? As far as it's for your growth, ensure that you read them at your best productive place and best productive time, because you really want to engage with those people. You really want to engage with that material, and the author of that material. All right, please, let's not forget to, fill our feedback form. In the last session, people did not really fill the feedback form. Please, let's do that. It's very, very important. The feedback form is already being dropped on the chatbot now. Let's do it to do it. Like I told you, this session we're having today was for the feedbacks we get in one of our sessions. So help us do that so that we can also know what is next to do, and just to serve you better, we know that, okay, we are carrying everybody along. All right. So let's proceed. Another thing is that you must take notes. See, maybe few people here, know my house and have been to my house before, right? Especially when I was still living in maybe one room like that. In fact, I used to joke with my friends then that I don't know, you come to a house of a researcher. If you enter my room, I mean some years ago, not now anymore, right? Then I was living in one room. But if you enter that one room where you see my bed and everything, most of the things you're going to see papers, you're going to see jottings, you're going to see them all around. I'm not, saying this to boast. You're going to see them all around. You're going to see them on the floor, on my table, just everywhere. In fact, I have a friend that I will come to my house. The person will be the one to be helping me to arrange the books. I said, don't waste your time, because after like 5 minutes now, if you leave, everything will be scattered, because I'm looking for something I jotted. I'm looking for where to quickly jot something. One thing you must do is that you must take notes. And thank God for technology. Today we have softwares that we can use to take notes if you don't want to write. Even though I still believe, because scientifically it's also proven that writing also have a way of helping our brains. I mean, writing with your hand. But if you cannot even do that, fine. We have notes that you can use, application you can use to take notes. So don't just read from the book you are reading. Don't forget, we said that you are engaging with the author of that book. That is what you are doing. You are engaging. So just take it as if John C. Maxwell is in your front. I'm very sure, if you are like me, I'm very sure that one or two things you are going to be doing, or one or maybe two things you are going to be doing, is to take a pen and be jotting, or to take permission. Sir, can I record? You, I don't know I don't know anybody who is serious who will be here who will not do one of those things, or both together, right? Who will see or will not do both together. So you must jot, you must write things down. The reason for writing this down is because you are not just reading to read, you are reading to apply. So that when you forget, you can quickly take back your note. Oh, I read this. This is what this is. This is what I should do about this now. So number one, I must know my best productive place and time. I must take notes. It's a must. These are laws that I'm trying to, pass across to us. I must take notes. Don't take notes because you are coming to give review tomorrow. No, 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 no. Let's say this is a physical meeting. I will have show you my tab. I will show you the notes, both all the books that I read. In fact, all the books that most of the books I read, I have the notes, either physical or soft copy. I have them. The books you're reading at book club, I don't take note because I want to do review. After all, I've only done 2 reviews, but I can tell you all the books that I read, the 2 books I read, I have the note of every chapters, all the chapters. So don't take note because you are coming to do review. You are not practicing the book. You are not. So know your best productive place and time. Take note, then relate concept with your life. One of the things you can do to shoot yourself on the leg when you're reading a book is to be reading and be thinking about somebody else. And not just reading alone. You are in a webinar like this, we are saying something, you are thinking about, oh, this is for that person. That my friend is the one that used to do this. No, 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 no. Ensure that what you are learning, what you are reading, relate it with your own life. Forget about whoever you are thinking about, forget about who that is talking about. So how does this relate to my life? Oh, this book is talking about time management. How do I manage my time? Am I good with my time? We are talking about how to read and apply now. You are the one I'm talking to. Even though we're going to have a broader audience who will listen to this video by the virtue of recording, but you are the one I'm talking to. So you begin to relate it with your life. You begin to put your life side by side with what you are reading. And that's why you also need to take notes. You put your life side by side with it. There's something that we read in one of John C. Marshall books recently. Those of you, I know, okay, large focus on this call. You might have noticed it in my office at work. There's a quote, of course, a very long quote that John C. Marshall quoted in that book. Talking about the average. Average is the top of the bottom, all those things, blah blah like that. I've read that thing over and over and over again. At some point, I said no, printed it out, pasted one in my office. I pasted one in my house where I work. I pasted one in my house in Ado-Ekiti here, so that I can see them again and again because I want to relate it with my life. So I'm not just reading to show that I'm reading. No. In fact, the truth of the matter is that many people, in fact, if you even live with me, you might find it difficult to even, if I find it difficult to, I want to use this word, I find it difficult to catch me when I'm reading. You might find it difficult to do that. Because most of the time, maybe I will have woken up as early as possible, to do my reading and all that. You might not see me hold books around. I do that in few occasions, very, very few occasions, very, very few occasions. You might never see me or catch me reading at work. Because I'm not doing that to show. I'm not saying that if you read that what you're doing that to show, but I'm just saying that I am reading to get better, not to show anything to anybody. At the end of the day, it's my life. So whatever you are reading, relate it. Every pages, every sentences, every word that you are reading, relate those things with your own life. Put your life side by side with those things. Let's move. Our time is going. Then ask questions. Yeah, we started by saying that the other time you must know the purpose. So when something is written, there's a concept that the person is talking about. You should be able to question the person. I'm not saying you should be a critic. I'm saying you should be able to critique. There are two different things. What these people who criticize, what they do is just to see failure in everything, see negativity. But critics, or those who critique, we look at it. Oh, I think this thing is this. I think this word is this word. You are looking at the positive side of it, and you are asking questions. You are asking questions to learn. You are asking questions to get better, not to condemn what the author have done. So you are not a robot. You are not expected to read everything and swallow everything. No. For instance, let me tell you this. You know that everything you read in a book, especially books that are written by non-Nigerian authors, some of the things are not really practicable in Nigeria. You agree, especially if you read a book on finance. There's something they will talk about there that you cannot really, in real sense, practice them the way they are written in those books in Nigeria. But you can actually use the knowledge there to now contextualize it to your own country. That is wisdom. So you must ask questions. How can I apply this? Is this really true? Is this practicable? Is this applicable? You are not a robot. You have a brain. You should think. The pastor I know very well will say that you must not suspend your brain. Even when you go to church, suspend your brain. By the time you suspend your brain is when preachers will twist Bible for you. They will say Isaac sown in that land and tell you to come and bring money. So if you have not suspended your name or your brain, of course, if you suspend your brain, you suspend your name. If you have not suspended your brain, you will know that no, what Isaac sowed was a seed he planted, not money. So when reading as well, participate actively, ask question the concept, not to be not negative part now, but for learning. Right? Then meditate. This is very, very important. Meditation is very, very important. You must have, in fact, recently I took my meditation more step forward where before now I don't plan it. I just take some time, the time when I just remember, I just sit down, just meditate through, think through things I'm learning, think through what I'm doing and all that. But recently I know I need to schedule a time for this, and I schedule a time for it in a day where I'll just think, I'm just meditating, things that I've learned, things about my life, things I want to do. In moments of meditation, ideas come to us. Things that we have read, come back to us. John C. Marshall also said that in the book we read the other day, The Law of Reflection, where you sit down and you are reflecting, you are thinking. That is where you can actually bring all those things, all those knowledge together as a whole to apply. So number one, know your best productive place and time. Take note, relate concept with your life, ask questions. You are not a robot. Meditate. Very, 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 very important. Please, I want somebody to speak to me. I want to know if I am still speaking, if I'm still very, very loud here. Please let me know, or you can just do a thumbs up, or just maybe you should just speak. Let me hear your voice.
Yes, I'm with you. I can hear
All
you
right.
loud and clear.
All right. Thank you
Yeah,
so
I'm
much.
with you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you. All right. So let's proceed. So active, put this in mind. Active readers learn. Passive readers forget. Active readers learn. Passive readers forget. I want to put that in your note and don't forget. Anybody who is an active reader will learn. A passive reader will forget. And let's look at this quote, that says by Socrates. He said, I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them to think. So those things we are reading in books, they are to to cause us to think, to meditate. The author is giving us, snippets here and there so that we can sit down with them and think. Right. All right. Now, law 3, extract one big idea. Extract one big idea from what you are reading. Don't forget, if you don't know the purpose of why you're reading that book, you cannot do this. Right? If you don't actively read, you can't do this as well. So for you to be able to extract one big idea, you must first of all know the purpose of the book, what you are trying to achieve, then actively read the book, actively listen to the podcast, actively watch the video, actively participate in the webinar, right? Then extract one big idea. Like I said, for instance, now I've been talking now going to like, I think I've been talking now going to about, let me check the time. Maybe like 50 minutes or so now. If I should ask you to tell me everything that I've said now, you might not be able to say everything. Even me myself, I might not be able to repeat everything I've said. But there should be things that you are highlighting out, points, that you are highlighting out to act upon. And that's what we're talking about here. So as you are reading those books, as you know the purpose of the book, you participate actively, ensure that you are extracting one big idea, you are extracting ideas out. Don't try to remember everything. You can't remember everything. You can't remember everything. So after every chapter, ask yourself, what is the one idea I must not forget? One is enough. I mean, one idea per chapter is enough. Imagine if a book is 20 chapters and you have one idea per chapter. That's 20 ideas. If you can, just like Johnson Master was saying that in that 21 in fact 21 laws of leadership, he says that he doesn't know anybody who is practicing all the 21. So that means that he is not expecting to practice all the 21, but he expects you to have the idea of everything, then build a team who can help that all of you can practice all together. So that means that nobody is even saying that you must gather 20 ideas. In fact, in an entire book, if it is only one idea that you can remember and you put into practice, and you do that consistently with all the books you are reading, your life will never remain the same. So I put something there. I say most books contain a few life-changing principles hidden inside hundreds of pages. If you take a book, 50 pages, 500 pages, many times the ideas that will change our life there might just be one, maybe two, depending on what you're looking for. Successful readers become excellent extractors. You must be like a miner, somebody who's looking for gold or is looking for a mineral resource in a place. You are looking for something. So when you see it, you audit. You audit. So extract one big idea. One applied idea is worth more than 100 remembered ideas. One applied idea is worth more than 100 remembered ideas. So the goal is not just to remember. The goal is to apply the ideas. So in chapter 1, what is one big idea that I have from this chapter? What is 3 ideas that I can get that I was able to extract out from this entire book that I want to practice? Even if it is one in an entire book, your life will not remain the same. So you will move from just a reader to a doer, right? All right. So I think I have a note. I have something in my notes here. Okay, that's nothing. So let's move to the next law, which is law 5. Turn knowledge into action immediately. Turn knowledge into action immediately. Let me see what I have in the chatbot. Is it feedback form? Okay. All right. Please ensure you feed the feedback form. It's very important. Thanks for our team who are helping us to post it. So turn knowledge into action immediately. Learning without action creates the illusion of growth. So if you are just reading and you are not applying anything, you will think that you are growing. But there's not growth without application. So if you are just in the becoming platform, oh, we have read 10 books. So hey, this year we read 12 books. Wow. In fact, personally, I read 24 books. And you are happy and you are that. For instance, I can say that about myself. I can say, okay, this year now I've read about 10 books. I've done that. That is not the story. Because if you are not applying those things, you just have the illusion that you are growing. So application is the most important thing. So turn knowledge into action immediately. Not tomorrow, not next 2 days, not next year. You must turn it to growth immediately. So after reading, what can I do about this within the next 24 hours? in the next 24 hours, in the next 48 hours? What can I do about this? I am in this webinar now. I am listening to what Matthew is saying. What can I do about what Matthew is saying in the next 24 hours? What can I do now about what he's saying? What can I do after this webinar about what he's saying? So that means that you are now turning from just getting information to getting wisdom. You are leaving the spot of just being a consumer of knowledge to a practitioner of wisdom. So if you read about budgeting, create a budget. Some of us will just gather knowledge up and down. You listen to a particular program that talk about that, track your finance, do all those things. I said this to some of us who are very close to me, who knows me very well. See, this is personal. I couldn't have said I want to share with you. But some of you knows that every dime that I spend, I track them. I mean, every dime. Unless I forget, which is very, very rare. I mean, I have a spreadsheet for it. Not that I'm just writing, so I have a spreadsheet. I have a particular sheet in the spreadsheet that help me calculate everything that comes to my pocket in a month, how much I spend, how much did I invest, how much did I save, how much did I gift, how much did I, everything. And I learned it from somewhere. One of the things I learned about growing wealth is that if you want to grow wealth, you must be able to track your finance. You must be able to track it. If you cannot track your finance, you are just joking. You don't really want to build wealth. So, and the day I learned it, and it came alive to me. No, I didn't wait till the next day. So if you read about budgeting, start to do budgets. Don't judge, oh, wow, it's good, though. Budgeting. Wow, that's nice. That's nice. Oga, start doing budgeting. Don't say, well, I'm not working yet. But you spend money. Where does the money come from? What do you use the money for? Put it down. You are learning, right? If you read about leadership, have difficult conversation. Leaders, if you can't be a leader if you can't have difficult conversations. I just as an example. If you read about leadership, act on it. Act on it. Don't say, I can't do it. But you just read a book about leadership. So what are you doing? What was the purpose of reading that book in the first place? And that's how we started, from having a purpose for your reading. Then if you read about eating healthy, start from that moment. Start from that moment. Those of us who know me very, 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 very well, who are very close to me, will know that it's very rare for me to eat late at night, because I have gotten to know that it is not healthy. So I put into practice. There are times that 7 p.m., 8 p.m., I still wish I should use something. I'll just say, no. I've learned about this. Because what is the purpose of knowledge if they are not being practiced? It doesn't make sense. It's a waste of time. What's the purpose of me spending hours to read, spending hours to do that, and I can't apply them? If I can't apply them, why am I doing it? So if you read about something, you read about forgiving, so to say, forgive. That's it. That's the essence of the book. That's the purpose of the book. You read about budgeting, like we said, budget. Start to budget from that place, from that point. Start it. I remember some times ago, this is something that maybe I should not say, but I'll just say it, right? Because I trust God that in years to come, something that will still be very big that people will know. I have this couple of friends that we are building a company together, all that. Do you know, the day I got the idea of what we are doing, I was watching a YouTube video. And when I got to that point, and when the man and the panel of judges mentioned something like that, do you know what I did? I paused the video. I mentioned a senior friend of mine. I said, Egbo, sir, blah, 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 blah. I just read about this. No, I just watched a video about this now. I think we do so. I did not finish the video when I started taking action about it. I did not finish that video. It was after I spoke to him that I spoke to another person. In fact, that particular day, I spoke to about 4 people. Because we needed to come together and just do something. I spoke to 4 people before I continued that video. That is how to turn knowledge into action immediately. Don't wait till the next day. Don't wait to next week. See, there's this. I forgot the way this is being put. Scientifically, he said ideas is like if ideas come to you now, if you don't do it, you will just be surprised that the same idea somebody else somewhere will just do it. Boom, and you just like this was what came to me last month. So idea does not stay with you alone. The moment you cannot put into action, you go to somewhere else. It's like a spirit. It leaves you and go somewhere else. So you act. You act. And to of what I'm talking about is turning to something else. In fact, we have gone to a state where we have registered the company, we have done that. We are, like I said, we are starting, we are just starting, but in years to come, you will know I'm talking about. So I'm saying that you act immediately. All the knowledge you have been gathering, all the books you have been reading, this is very passionate to me. I can see it in my voice, right? All the knowledge you've been gathering, what have you been doing with them? You learned about interpersonal relationship, but you cannot relate well in your office. You cannot relate with people in your villa, in your house, on the streets. You don't know how to make friends. So why did you read how to win friends and people of influence? Why? How? What did you learn? You didn't learn anything there. So you must turn knowledge into action immediately. Immediately. Not next tomorrow. Not immediately. Turn knowledge into action. And ounce of practice, that is a small practice, small ounce means something like small, a unit, is worth more than tons of preaching. Mahatma Gandhi, this man is very, very interesting man. He's from India, one of the people that fought for the mastery of India and all that. He said, if you are just preaching, you are saying something, and you are not practicing it, it doesn't make sense. So a small unit of practice is worth more than tons of preaching. So all this time we are spending here, spending and spending here, if you don't practice anything, you have wasted your time and you wasted mine as well. So you must put those things to practice. You must turn knowledge into action. So whatever books you are going to be reading in the Becoming platform, even on your own, please put them into action. Put them into action. Put them into action immediately. Let's go to the fifth law. Our time is going. Now, this is also very important. Teach what you learn. Teach what you learn. Learning deepens through teaching. And I'm going to be saying this to all of us, many of us tonight, that you should run away from it. So, especially for us who run away from responsibilities, you run away from, you don't want people to see you, you don't want to do this. You are not really helping yourself. If I'm coming to this webinar, I won't just come. This slide of mine, I was done with it for a few days ago. I've read it over and over and over and over again. I sat down, developed, okay, this one, read through, read some quotes and all that. So even though I'm coming to teach you, I am also learning. That is what teaching does. So when you learn something, teach it, explain it. You might not have audience like I do, but you must also have. You might also have, but you have a friend, you have a neighbor, you have a husband, you have a wife, you have a boyfriend or whatever. I know nobody is a gay here. So, explain it. Explain, teach somebody else, right? Learning deepens through teaching. Learning, it deepens through teaching. So, learn, summarize, then share. Learn, summarize, share. So when you learn something, and of course, many times you don't need to tell somebody, sit down, let me teach you. You don't even need that. In conversations, maybe you and the person you're just taking a walk. You're just discussing about something. It will come in. What you have learned from Robert Kiyosaki will come in. Somebody say you want to, for instance, so into my office, no is very rare. I was talking to one brother some times ago. I entered the office because when I get to the office, I will just go through. Every other offices, greet everybody, then go back to sit down. Except for a few occasions when I need to do some things on time. So I go to this my guy office and I saw him eating. In fact, I was expecting to be on this call. Maybe if it is here, if he's here, I will have mentioned his name. He won't be angry anyway. He's my guy. So I saw him eating pop early in the morning. I said, Oga, this thing is not healthy. I started educating him. Hey, early in the morning, your glucose level is this and this, blah, 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 blah. I was saying that because these are the things those are knowledge I've accumulated. And as I'm teaching her, those things are coming back to me again. So even me, if I want to go and buy pop-off, that's the first thing that will come to my mind. Oga, you just told someone not to read pop-off. It will come back to me. So learn, summarize, and teach. Don't just learn. Ensure that you're also sharing what you are learning. Is super, super important. So when you teach, what happens? When you teach, you identify knowledge gaps. Oh, you know that, me, team working that out. Sorry, I've not learned this thing very well. Oh. You still have some gaps here. So maybe I need to go back and go and relearn again, right? But if you don't teach, you won't know that. You just think that I already know it. But when you try to explain to somebody and you know that they are stammering, you know that let me go back. Let me go and listen to that podcast again. I didn't listen well. Then you're able to organize your thoughts. Because you want, for instance, I want to come and teach you. I won't just come and just start talking. I know, okay, this is what I'm going to say this, then say that, then say that, then say that. So I'm learning to also organize my thoughts. Then what else? You retain information longer. Yeah. One of the ways to retain information longer is when you teach what you know. So we practice, and you and I know that we practice this in our book club. How do we do it? By the reviews that we do. And that is why I beg you. Some of us will say we will review, some of us will not do it. See, as much as we are trying to learn from you, you are actually helping yourself. Because I know that some people that they might not even read the book, but because they are coming to share that day, they will be forced to read it. And maybe as they are being forced to read it, maybe they will get something, they will get something from there, right? So as you share, you are learning better, right? You are retaining the information longer. So you say tomorrow you are the one doing review, take it very serious. Don't even say that, say you are coming to teach others. You are actually teaching yourself, because I'm very sure, especially for those of us who use voice notes. I think we're going to restrict to the voice note alone now. I'm sure that you are not just going to do copy and paste. You will have all read through, you will jot down, then you now do voice recording. So that means that you might have even read that book now, those pages, you might have read it about 3 times, because you are coming to share. So, and it makes the knowledge to be retained longer in your memory and easy to practice. All right, I think there's a quote here. To teach is to learn twice. Joseph Joubert. To teach is to learn twice. That is just summarize everything I've been saying since. To teach is to learn twice. So when you are teaching, you are learning twice. That's what it is, right? Then build a personal application system. Of course, we have said this, but we're just bringing it out again. Build a personal application system. I put something, I said, keep implementation lists instead of reading lists. We have said it over and over on this call today. Not just, this year I've read 12 books. Wow, I've read 20 books. Oh, I can read 500 pages in a week. And we have people like that. We have people who are that I'm praying to be like them, who can read. Like they are crazy with reading, right? There's someone like that on this call that I respect a lot, But I'm not saying the person, I'm not saying that's what the person is doing. I'm just saying, I'm just as an example, right? Don't just keep reading lists, keep implementation lists. I read this in Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Daddy, Poor Daddy, or Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay, this is what I implemented, or this is what I'm going to implement from that book. I read the Rich Dad quadrant. The Rich Dad quadrant. This is what I read. This is what I'm going to implement. I read the Psychology of Money. This is what I implemented from that book. This is what I want to implement from this book. I read what's the name? I read The Richest Man in Babylon. Babylon. That book was the book that I learned how to save. The book taught the principle of saying that when you earn, at least 10% of your earning should be saved. I learned it first from that book some years ago. Recently, and that book, in fact, recently I got to know recently from Dr. Samadem that book has been written over 100 years, and that book is still helping lives today. So from that book, I read that you must save no matter how much you are earning. So it is not the book. The philosophy around Bible is that it is not that your salary is little. That's why you cannot save because you don't have financial discipline. I learned that from that book. So I must implement. So I must not just keep. I've read Robert Kiyosaki. I read Richard Man in Babylon. I read this. I read that. I read Robert Schuller. Tough Time Never Last. Not able to. No, that's not the list I want to keep. Even though it is good, you should also have the list of books so that you can recommend to others. But you must also keep implementation list. Oh, this I'm doing it because I read this book. Okay, I'm going to do this. I read in Psychology of Money. I'm going to start practicing it tomorrow. I'm going to start practicing now. Or I'm doing it because of this. So that's what we're talking about here, right? So for every book, key lesson, we have said that earlier, highlight key lesson. What are the key lessons in this chapter? What are the key lessons in this book? Highlight it out. Action step. Kí ni mo fẹ́ ṣe next? What am I going to do? About this key lesson that I've highlighted out. The what next? What's the deadline? See, I also learned this, and this is what I'm talking about. I'm saying something, I'll tell you I learned it from somewhere. I also learned this from reading about the biography of Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. These guys, what I read about that, what I learned from them is that when they ask you to do something, they won't just tell you, do this for me. They would say, do this between this time and this time. In fact, Steve Jobs was known to give crazy, very, very crazy deadline. That is the deadline that, humanly speaking, you will know you cannot meet it. That's the deadline it's going to give you. And those things, because see, you can't do anything worthwhile in a comfort zone. You cannot. You can't. You must. We read that in the book of in that John C. Marshall book, the law of stretching, the law of the rubber band. You must be able to stretch yourself. You have deadline. This I've highlighted key lesson from this book. This is the action step I'm going to take. What is the deadline? Just that the book we just finished reading, the habit stocking. Was that what James Clear called it? When he says, I'm going to do this at so time, at so place. And when I'm done with this, I will do this. Implementation intention. We read that in James Clear book, Atomic Habits. I hope you haven't forgotten. So, key lesson, action step, deadline. I read about saving. What is the deadline that I have to start saving? Today, tomorrow, I must start saving. My next salary, I must save. I must save. I must save. So you are giving yourself a deadline. Then, result achieved. So I must also keep, what is the result I've achieved from this? So I must not just keep reading lists. I must keep implementation lists of what I'm reading. Not just the book, but implementation list. The goal is not finishing books. The goal is becoming better. Just like our slogan, become better, live better. The goal is not finishing books. The goal is becoming better. That's the goal. That's what we are doing. That's the goal. There's nothing else. Right? So keep implementation list instead of reading list. Then the seventh law, which we are going to end it today. Of course, we might still have maybe another time to come and discuss again, maybe a part 2 or thereabout. But I believe that if you put everything I've said with this, you are not just going to be a reader, you are going to be a doer. And you'll be grateful that you attend this webinar tonight, and I believe those who are going to watch video as well, they will be grateful as well. The seventh law, measure transformation, not information. Just like what we have been saying, it's not the number of books, it's the effect of the books, the impact of the books in our lives. So if nothing changes, learning has not yet become wisdom. So instead of how many books have I read, I'm not saying it is wrong to say how many books have I read. No, because I'm talking to you as somebody who is reading. I'm not talking to you as somebody who is not reading. I'm talking to you as somebody who is already addicted to reading. So not reading is not your problem. But the problem we are trying to solve is going beyond being a reader to a doer of the things that we are reading. So instead of asking how many books I read, I must ask myself, what results have been produced? These are just few questions I'm just throwing to us. There are many that you can ask yourself. What am I doing better? I've learned, like I said, I've learned about budgeting. Have I been doing budgeting? Some of us will just collect our salary before we know the vim. We finish it. When they ask you, what do you use it to do? We just, what do I use to buy itself? But you learned about budgeting. You learned about financial education. What do you do with the learning? What habits have changed? I must ask myself these questions. And as I often say to us, you must not deceive yourself. You must say the truth to yourself. Somebody will say the truth and let them be ashamed. Say the truth. Don't try to be who you are not. You have some people who dress, who dress very well. Not saying not dress very well, they dress as somebody who does not fat. So don't be like that. Don't be somebody who just you are reading. People are saying, oh, this girl, this boy, oh man, you just be carrying books. Oga, those books, where are the effects in your life? We have learned about habits, learn about this. Are they reflecting your life? Or you are the type that before somebody say one, you are give the person blow. You don't even allow people to talk. Before you know it, fam. No. What result have I been or have those books produced? What am I doing better? What habits have changed in my life, right? So, knowledge is of no value unless you put it into practice. Atonshiko, knowledge is of no value unless you put it into practice. Let that be ringing on your mind. So, as we begin to close tonight, I want to give you a kind of reflection task. I'll give you a reflection task, and I also give you a challenge, as we begin to close tonight. And don't forget, like we said, please ensure that you feel the feedback from everybody that's on this call. Ensure you feel the feedback from very, very important. Put what you think there and all that. Very, very important. All right. And you can see the form is being posted over and over and over again. Do well to fill it. Don't say, I will just enjoy the webinar. I forget to fill the form. No, it's not good. Fill it. Eshe? Now, let's do a little reflection. And I want you to be honest with yourself. We're going to do it very practical. I'm going to give you 1 minute, right? And you are going to think through what you are seeing on the screen. In fact, I will even advise that if it's possible, you can even screenshot it. And even after tonight's session, you look at it very well. But I also want you to look at it, right? Because if your life does not reflect what you are learning, then learning has not started yet. It's just like you're wasting time, right? So I want to take a moment and reflect. Am I mostly a reader or a doer? How many things have I learned recently but not applied? So as we're reflecting, write down. So ask yourself. So take a pen and a sheet of paper. Like I said, I'm going to give you 1 minute to 2 minutes to do that. I'll just give you that time, right? And ask yourself, am I mostly a reader or a doer? How many things have I learned recently but not applied? What book or podcast idea changed nothing in my life? You might not remember everything, but anyone you remember, maybe a book you remember you have read and nothing changed. What am I currently intellectually rich in, but practically poor in? That is, you have the knowledge of it. You have knowledge of finance, but practically you are poor in it. What are those things? Like I said, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Just reflect on it. Write those things down. Write those questions down and write the answers. Be sincere. If you are mostly a reader, write it there. You are a reader. That's why you're in this webinar. Then you now change. So I want to take 2 minutes, 2 minutes to do that. Just reflect. Just think through this, what you're having on your screen. You can screenshot it, write it down, answer the questions, and just reflect on them.